fastest show in sports.
Everything is different now in college football than it was just 10 years ago. With NIL, with the transfer portal, with the incredible, insane amount of money that is being spent in college football, everything is entirely different. One thing that is also different that I never saw, or that I certainly didn't see at this level as I was covering it for many years, is the influence of gambling on college football and college athletics. It is now infinitesimally worse than it used to be, with players gambling, with the fixing of games, with players who simply believe they can get away with it. And it's not just hurting the integrity of the game. It's hurting the players, the games, and the fans themselves. I want you to listen to this report from CBS News. This was done a couple of years ago. I want you to listen very closely to the words of the NCAA president in this interview, because that will come up right after the report.
College football rivalry at its finest.
When Iowa took on Iowa State in September, it was 5 players not on the field who made headlines. They all faced criminal betting charges, including Iowa State's starting quarterback, Hunter Dekkers.
Was he betting on his own team?
Yes. I mean, any athlete betting on their own events, period, in our world, it just can't happen.
What about the SEC?
Matt Holt runs U.S. Integrity, a company that crunches data for every major college conference to make sure games are conducted fairly and squarely.
I think Iowa and Iowa State was a huge eye-opener.
I've met with all 97 conferences.
But NCAA President Charlie Baker's were already open, especially on a kind of wager called a prop bet.
I think prop betting in some respects is one of the parts I worry about the most.
Prop bets are side bets made on some part of the game, like will a given player make his first shot? It could be hard to detect if the make or miss is on the level. Out of $93 billion bet on sports legally in the U.S. last year, a staggering $12 billion were prop bets.
My concern about prop betting is just that putting myself in the shoes of a young person who's on a campus, who has a friend or two that come up to them and say, you know, I love you, I've always supported you. If you could just miss your first couple of free throws this week, it won't affect the outcome of the game.
Our CBS News investigation found 22 states where gambling is legal that ban prop betting specifically on college sports. At least 8 states still allow it.
We get the fact.
Baker, the former governor of Massachusetts, signed the law legalizing online gambling there, except on college sports.
I've talked to a lot of coaches about this, and I've talked to a ton of conference commissioners and athletic directors, and yeah, they're all concerned. And I think they're concerned about it for the same reasons we are.
College football, then as it is now, is so right to be concerned about gambling. But to hear Charlie Baker with this righteous attitude about how we need to take care of prop betting, we need to make sure that the game is on the up and up, we need to make sure that the athletes themselves don't make these sorts of mistakes, it comes off as specious bullshit, quite frankly, because we are now in an era and a time when the NCAA has a proposal that they have adopted that will allow players and staff on college football and college athletic programs to legally bet on pro sports. Now, you can't bet on college sports, but they're going to let them bet on professional sports. The administrative committee says this from Josh Whitman, the Illinois athletics director and chair of the committee. The administrative committee was clear in its discussion today that it remains concerned about the risks associated with all forms of sports gambling. You're worried about everything involved in sports gambling, but you are now about to open the door to sports gambling. We ultimately voted to reduce restrictions on student athletes in this area to better align with their campus peers. Hang on a sec. Their campus peers are not out there actually playing the games, and last time I checked, their campus peers, the young men and women who are in classes, aren't out there with the opportunity to fix the games, to affect the outcome of the games. They're out there in class. The athlete's not in class. The athlete's on court, on the ice, on the field. They're the ones with the opportunity to fix the game. So doesn't that ring a little bit strange to hear that said? Doesn't that basically defeat the whole purpose? This change allows the NCAA, the conferences, and the member schools to focus on protecting the integrity of college games, while at the same time encouraging healthy habits for student athletes who choose to engage in betting activities on professional sports. Yeah, that's right. Don't worry about a thing, kids. Gambling is a healthy way to make your day. That's right. We're going to go ahead and make sure that we can all still gamble. One of the greatest diseases to ever strike American society in years, certainly in sports. Let's go ahead and make sure that it's nice and healthy, and all those players can get out there and they can take part in gambling like their friends do and really have a great old time doing it, in basically wagering money they don't have, some of them who do have, and in driving themselves down into a disease that basically creates the need, the want, the always cringy desire to gamble, the plunging gamblers, if you will. Sure, let's go ahead and create it. What bullshit. I mean, what arrogant, incredible bullshit. I mean, who's kidding who? Here the NCAA is saying, we're going to let them bet on pro sports. Don't worry about it. Everything else is nice and healthy. Have you heard what's going on in college athletics these days? Did anybody in this audience, and the NCAA specifically, pay attention to what happened in February of 2025?
2 of the 3 college players named in the betting investigation are now off the team. Sports director Stephen Hicks joins us from the live desk with the comments made by one player on his role in the gambling scandal. Stephen?
Yeah, Warren, Jalen Weaver telling ESPN that he played a daily fantasy contest in Fresno State's game against New Mexico, betting $50 that he would score more than 11 points. Now, Weaver finished that game with 13, and he tells ESPN he made a mistake, but that he never tried to sabotage the season. According to the now former Bulldog, he never bet on the team to lose, never betting on his unders. According to the ESPN report, that is not the case for Michael Robinson. Sources tell ESPN he bet the under on points and rebounds he would record in games played. Now, essentially betting against this team. At least one major U.S. sportsbook tells ESPN they got increased betting interest on Robinson's props in games this season. He hasn't played since January 11th and is no longer associated with the team. A third player, Zayon Collins, said to have gambled on professional sports. He was kept out of last Saturday's game at Air Force. It's unclear on if he's playing tomorrow against Boise State, as the school has not responded to multiple requests for comment.
As we sit here right now and discuss this, the NCAA and federal authorities are looking into innumerable cases of gambling on campus. And mostly it's basketball players and football players, but mostly it's the college basketball players. Fresno State was just really a tip of an iceberg. But that's an iceberg that's been floating in college athletics for about 30 years. Gambling isn't anything new. Players have done it illegally for a long time. But right now I can tell you without a single doubt, after talking to friends of mine, colleagues around the country, those who cover college athletics, almost every single one of them I speak with tells me that they have no doubt whatsoever there is gambling going on the basketball program, the men's and the women's program. There is gambling going on with the college football players. They just haven't been able to find it yet, or in many cases, the universities themselves turn a blind eye to it. They don't want to get involved because they don't want to destroy the money. They don't want to get involved in taking care of the profit margins because everybody's in bed with gamblers right now. From the universities to the networks to the sponsors, everybody's involved. Everybody pushes gambling forward as a nice, healthy way to go ahead and have some fun with your friends, kids. But that's the point. It is a disease. College is rife with gambling. There's a lot of money out there. There's a lot of criminal element out there. There's a lot of young men and women who simply are too naive, too stupid to understand what's going on right now. They're young. They don't get it. It's just a little bet here and there. It's just a point. It's a free throw I missed. It's a 2-point conversion that we didn't make. Hey, we still won the game. Everybody's happy. Yeah, we won the game 70-45. It's no big deal. Hey, that 2 points and that field goal, it's shanked to the left. Don't worry about it because it still covered the spread and everybody's happy. The NCAA needs to hammer down. The NCAA and any regulatory body in college athletics must hammer down on the gambling issue now. And they have to get a lot more serious. If you find somebody who is betting on their team, you kick them out immediately. You don't even think twice. and you launch the investigation. You find out who else was involved. You turn them over to the authorities, whether it's local, state, or federal, and you make sure that they get charged. You bring those investigations deep, and you punish your own players. And if you think that allowing college athletes to gamble on pro sports is going to make them all nice and happy and have a really good time, and it's not going to affect what happens in their day-to-day lives on court, on ice, on field, then you are insane. Insane. Because it's a disease. It's an addiction. And once you have it in one place, you're going to have it in other places. To think that a lot of these college athletes are just going to go ahead and bet on the NFL on a weekend or bet on the Lakers on a weekend and not have it interfere with their college lives is a level of stupid ignorance that I haven't heard in a long time. Granted, there are investigations and there are players like the ones at Fresno State that are being taken and are being punished. But the punishment needs to be more severe. The punishments need to be much more harsh in order to start punishing these players and make others behind them realize that you're just not going to get away with it. You've got to kick them out of school immediately. You got to take away everything they had. You got to cut them adrift. And then you got to turn them over to the authorities and let them take their chance by going to jail. Tough shit. That's the way life is. You make a mistake, you pay for it. But let's also be frighteningly honest here. A lot of colleges are covering up the gambling that goes on at their universities by players. Don't tell me otherwise. Because I've been there. And it wasn't recently, but I have been there at times when universities, when coaches, when managers, when people involved with programs have covered up for the players to make sure that any illegalities weren't mentioned, didn't get out there, didn't make public news. And because you have the colleges deep, deep in bed with casinos and with the gambling platforms right now, they don't want to rock the boat because that gambling money works its way into the TV networks. That money works its way into the university, to the athletic department, to everybody along the line. It is a filtering of that cash. So all that money made from all the sponsorships and all the gambling revenue that's made that gets kicked back is one way or another sifting its way down to the level of the athlete themselves and the payments. Look at the tremendous amount of money right now that coaches are getting in every single sport. I mean, where do you think that money all comes from? Yeah, it comes from a lot of resources, but it also comes from sponsorship money, from booster money, from gambling money. It's all involved. And look, I'm not saying that if you're on the outside looking in, and if you want to gamble, go ahead. Go ahead. I mean, if you can gamble legally and you're of age and you want to do it, fine. But they have to enforce a zero-tolerance policy for anybody betting on anything, legal, illegal, pro, amateur, whatever. You got to cut the cord. It's the only way to make sure that that possibility does not live right in your own backyard. And you got to investigate it, and you got to look after it, and you got to kick players out. If they're the most popular player on the team, if they're the most powerful player on the team, and if they're found gambling, if they're found moving bets, you're out. You're gone. You're no longer on the team. You're no longer in the school. Goodbye. It has to happen. It's the only way to keep the integrity of the game solid, the integrity of the sport solid. This is about college athletics, and this is about the plundering of college athletics with the use of gambling money. It's got to stop. And the NCAA is flat out wrong in allowing their athletes to place legal bets. You play for the team, you play for us, you can't gamble. Sure, there's going to be lawsuits. Fight the lawsuits. These are the rules. You can't do it. If you do it, you're out. No second chance.
Ed Berliner, the fastest show in sports.